and then what. That has always helped me. So the next speaker is Yuyo, I call her my sister, Nachali dot Kambikambi, a seasoned journalist, seasoned PR practitioner, and she's going to talk about an influencer in the space of PR and social etiquette. Welcome, you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to be here. I'm humbled to have been invited by Alfred, my longtime brother and friend. I was pretty surprised actually. I was thinking, why are you calling me? Why? But seriously, I think like Mandela said earlier on, there's so many people that Alfred could have picked. He decided to pick the three of us here. We're humbled and we're honored to be here, just to share our little nuggets and probably share a few life experiences that could probably, we're learning from you, and I suppose you also get something from us. So today's presentation is basically coming from the aspect of public social etiquette. Yeah, next one. So what is etiquette? What is etiquette? There's so many things there. So many things. There's social decorum, there's form, there's nice, there's polite, there's best protocol, there is business code, there is rules, expectations, all sorts of things. Now, I decided to talk about this because carrying on from what Mandela has just spoken about, it's important to realize that as a brand, you have to mix with people. And first and foremost, you are a person. And therefore, you are in an environment where you need to actually be in touch with people. The next one, please. So, according to Wikipedia, manners and etiquette. Respect, kindness, and consideration form the basis of good manners and good citizenship. Etiquette means the language of manners. Rules of etiquette cover behavior in talking, acting, living, and moving. In other words, every type of interaction and every situation. Some people here may be thinking, why is she talking about this? Why? I'm talking about this because if you are going to be an influencer, these are some of the things that you need to take on board. Otherwise, I'm not sure what you are influencing. Del has spoken about so much power, mental power, spiritual power, and so many things. But there's the need for you to understand the aspect of etiquette in whatever you're doing. You could be a foodie person who's just putting a picture of 2 donuts. But what are you saying? Is there anything that you said, and how have you said it? Next one, please. So I want to ask a question. How are we doing? After his presentation, how are we doing? I don't want you to answer me. I want you to think. How are you doing after hearing what a brand is and what an influencer is? How are you doing? How can you, from 1 to 10, gauge yourself? How are you doing? Are you on 2? Are you doing pretty well? Are you on 4? Or are you on 10 and you don't need to be here? I can see some smiles there. I hope we're doing some introspection because we'll come back to this. The next one, please. Where are you right now? This is another introspection slide. Ask yourself, as an influencer, where am I? How are you doing? What is golden right now that you have as an influencer that you can hold on to and build on? Or what is broken? Coming from what he has actually spoken about as a brand, what is broken that you need to fix? Or maybe it doesn't even need fixing. How do we know all this? How do you know what is golden and what is broken? I think Della has spoken so much about what a brand is and what it isn't. That's introspection slide. I want you to actually think through where you think you are and gauge yourself. Next slide, please. So, what is a brand? I'm not even going to go into it because I knew Della was going to talk about it. But guess what? I singled out the R. because what I'm talking about has to do with relationship. There's so many things that you can talk about when it comes to brand. But in a relationship, a brand is the thoughts. Sorry, I can't read that. Let me just read it from here. So, a brand is the thoughts, feelings, and psychological relationship between a business and a customer. That is a relationship. Are we together? So even as an influencer, you need to understand that it's a relationship that you have. As an influencer and the people who are following you, you have a relationship. Next slide, please. So in terms of talking about public social etiquette, some people may call it public relations. Doesn't matter what you call it. Public social etiquette or public relations is about managing relationships, while branding yourself or calling yourself an influencer is about creating an identity for yourself. Now, they two may be different definitions, but they two cannot work without each other. One, as a brand, you cannot work without relationships. You cannot work without people. Because you're a brand for what? For who? Who are you influencing if there are no people who are there to be able to manage a relationship? I think this aspect is very important here, because as an influencer, you need to understand that whoever is following you, you have created some sort of relationship for them to be able to follow you. Not so? Otherwise, why would they be following you anyway? Alfred talked about the 2 donuts. So why were people following this person? There were 800, I don't know, 8,000 people. Maybe some of them loved donuts, I don't know. Or maybe they liked the cream on top, I have no idea. But they created a relationship. But how are you managing this relationship for you to create a brand for yourself? Next one, please. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because it does get ugly sometimes as an influencer. There are great stuff that you can have as an influencer. There's bad stuff that can happen as an influencer. And I think those are the things that you need to understand as an influencer. It's not just, oh great, oh yeah, oh I represent this brand, oh Coca-Cola, oh Atlas Mara, oh Hot FM. That's all great. Yes, you are representing a brand. But there is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And those are the things that I wanted us to talk about today. Please go to the good. So, if you do it right, as in do your influencing right, it could earn you a lot of money. Are we agreed? Can we say amen? Amen. 2, you could be a well sought after individual to represent big brands. True or false? True. Yeah? If you're doing it right. Number 3, you can choose your own job title. Singer, strategist, there we go. Anybody else? Communication expert, there we go. It's entirely up to you what you decide to call yourself. It's not like where you are employed and you are told you are going to be a warehouse manager. It doesn't work like that with an influencer. You can find your own title and be comfortable with it. Number 4, it helps you stand out from the rest who are doing what? Similar things. I put Coke in a hotel there. We're in a hotel right now. You can either get your Coca-Cola or your water outside by Egantemba or something, and it will be basically just water, isn't it? You walk in here and, oh, our Radisson is going to put a lemon, slice of lemon, a straw, some ice. But has it changed? I'm asking, has it changed? It's still water, isn't it? So you need to understand there's good in that. Number 5, it helps you expand your professional network. I think we're all here from all different walks of life. And I will be, glad to meet some of you individually. It expands our professional network in that there are certain things that you are good at that somebody else isn't good at. Say, for instance, Oscar, I'll pick on Oscar. He runs a radio station. I'm not a broadcaster. But I will come to him and say, you know what, Oscar? Could I learn how to mix A, B, C, D? Because I know that is what his niche is, isn't it? So I'm expanding my professional network because I have met him in this place that Alfred has brought us to, and I'm going to take, advantage of that. Am I speaking to somebody? Can we go to the bad? So, the bad. I'm sure there's so many. I decided to do 7. 7 number of completion. The bad. Mistakes that could hurt you. Number 1, you think it's okay to comment about everything. Chawama is on fire. I was there. No, in Chingola. My cousin. Okay, all right. You're an expert on anything. Where you have an opinion about every subject, including the texture of toilet tissue paper. As an influencer, just like Della has spoken about, you cannot do that. You cannot be here, there, and everywhere. You've got to pick what your niche is. There's a difference between standing out and sticking out. So, the balance. Are you standing out because you are such a great influencer, or you're sticking out like a sore thumb and hurting people? Number 3, you like every comment from your followers and friends. No, because if I don't like, they won't follow me. I have to like. I have to say, oh, well done, or put it on a heart shape or something, or put it, what's that, a little sign with like a lit something, some fire thing. Some fire, I think it's on, the flame. Yeah. You feel it's important because they're your followers, so you feel it's important to do that. It's not necessary. It isn't. Stay away from touchy subjects. Debates. Stay away as an influencer from touchy debates because they can hurt you. Number 4, you see the need to post every social gathering you are at. Every social gathering you're at, you have posted selfie. In the toilet, selfie. Yeah, by the staircase, selfie, posted. Unless you are a foodie, as we call them, where your job is to showcase food, but there's no need for you to be in the picture. Going back to Alfred's picture of the donuts, did you see the guy's face in the picture with the donuts? No, right? No, we didn't see the guy's face, but there was just the donuts. So number 5, you continue to praise yourself. Guys, self-praise is no praise. We need to get that in us as influencers. Do your work and other people will praise you. Number 6, when people ask you to share your experiences, first thing you think about is, show me the money. Show me the money. So, you're asked, gentlemen, there's Gary, right? Let's say somebody went to Gary and said, Gary, you know what? I heard your question in that boardroom chat. I was just thinking, I have these children in John Howard, and I'm thinking, are you able to come and just speak with them, even just for 10 minutes, because they're doing a particular project on radio or so on. And the first thing you say is, show me the money. Guys, as influencers, you need to understand it's not always about money. We need to get away from that. Service to mankind. Number 7, not understanding your audience. I don't even want to go there because Della has spoken so much about it. Not understanding your audience. Even Alfred talked about, okay, today you're talking about funerals. Tomorrow you're talking about Chilangamulo. The following day you're talking about, there's so many dogs in the street. The next day you're talking about, this rubbish here. Who is your audience? Who is listening to? Why have they followed you? Please always remember. Understand why people are following you. They have followed you because you have set a tone for a particular subject line. You cannot be everywhere talking about everything as an influencer because that totally kills you. Can we go to the ugly? Because it does get ugly. Depending on the mistakes you make, they could cost you future job opportunities. Can we raise our hands, please? I won't even ask you to say amen. But depending on your mistakes, seriously, depending on what you say, what you post, that can cost you your future. You could be, what's the word that the young ones use? You could be lit. You could be the one in your particular field. But just one little comment that you made. A big brand, Atlas Mara, will say, that comment that she made, I don't think so. Number 2, highly important. Never talk trash about your former clients. Guys, this is a global village. What goes around comes around. And there's so many people I know personally who have lost out on their image because they have spoken trash in public domain about their former clients. It doesn't help you. Like Alfred said, and then what? You used to work for them, you did a brand for them, and maybe they paid you 1 week late or whatever. Hey, Baja, you know what? And I can't. You don't want to deal with it. Don't even. And then what? 3, followers are going to flee. It's a fact. Your followers are going to flee. We're talking about 8 likes. Yeah, you're an influencer, but you have 2 likes today, tomorrow, 3, maybe even and a half like. I don't know if there's a half like, but yeah. Your brand can be killed easily. Not by other people, I have put there, but by yourself. Why? Because of how you manage your fame. Don't let it get to your head. As a person who has to have etiquette regarding the public and the social environment that you live in, don't let fame get to your head. It doesn't help you in any way. I have put a Twitter, this happened in 2013. I don't know, some of you may remember it. This was a lady who was a senior vice president of an institution. In fact, I think it was a health institution. And she was going to South Africa to see her family. And this is what she tweeted on the plane. Going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. Yeah, I heard an ouch there. By the time she landed in South Africa, she didn't have a job. This is how bad and ugly it can get. This is a real thing. I'm not talking about fairy tale. No, in whatever days, 1922. No. This is 2013. This lady did not have a job the minute she landed in South Africa, all because of a careless tweet. Number 5, competitors are watching like hawks. waiting to see your downfall. I'm sure some of you have gotten. You have those heebie-jeebies because you have gotten to this. The competitor is waiting for your downfall. Believe me, not everybody who smiles at you is happy for you, is saying, oh yeah, you go on, and yeah. And they're smiling. What do they say in bed? Yeah. Not everybody, you need to understand, because you have built a great brand for yourself, you're a great influencer, there will be people who just want to see your downfall. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. Sadly, it is what it is. That's how the world works. So you've got to be very careful about what you tweet, what you like, and so on. Next slide, please. So that's it. I just have like 3-4 slides I want to talk about because I think it's important. Remember, the first thing I said to you was, you are human. You cannot get away from being human and being an influencer. Can somebody tell me what they see here? Because I'm talking about things to remember. Branding is not, here's your Facebook and here's your water. You could be thirsty, but you decide to go to Facebook instead of going to have a glass of water. So, yes, you're an influencer, but you are a human being. Please do not neglect that aspect about you being a human being. Next slide, please. Branding is not about selfie, accident, sending to 20 WhatsApp groups. I was face at the scene. Oh, this person, I saw this person dying, you people. I saw them dying. That's not branding. You've got to understand what culture you're living in, what environment you're living in. Maybe in Mongolia, I don't know. It's okay to do, but you need to understand that you're a human being first. This is the point I'm making. Just because you're an influencer doesn't make you a superhuman being. Next slide, please. Creating an identity is not slavery, guys. You are hooked to your phone. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. What other things are there now? There's All Social. I've seen All Social. There's WeChat. What else is there? Snapchat. TikTok. Telegram. Now, when you get so hooked to these as an influencer and you forget to breathe, what happens? Can somebody answer me on that one? Burnout. And then what happens after you're burnt out as an influencer? Your relevance, then we talked about relevance. Now you are basically all over the place. Next slide, please. I'm coming back to this one. So after having this tete-a-tete with me, where do you think you are? Are you a slave to social media and so on, where you have forgotten to live? I always tell people, when you're an influencer, please take time out to just breathe. It could be off Facebook, off Twitter, even for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, even for 2 weeks. Cut off all those things. Come back. See the reaction you're going to get when you come back. I promise you, see the reaction you're going to get when you come back. You see, when you're in people's faces all the time, sometimes you irritate them. I think somebody was talking about irritation earlier on. Sometimes you irritate them, and people are thinking, oh, you're naive, okay, yeah. All right, you know, can we go on, and things like that. You need to take time out to do an introspection and come back with a bang. You cannot be, you know, an influencer 365 days a year. You're a human being, and you need to manage your relationships. And those relationships include your families as well. So please do remember that. Next slide. No one can empower you but you. And once you have empowered yourself, no one can take that power away. I'm talking about this because even as Ndela was talking about rebranding yourself, staying relevant, at the end of the day, there are certain things that you have to move with the times, isn't it? There's a lot of talk about moving with the times. Oscar, we know, radio started off with just radio. Nobody could see anybody. But you see what he has done with Hot FM is that people can see the people doing the radio. So you're moving with the times, but that's empowering. Are we together? Next slide, which is I am done. Thank you.